Empty shelves and food shortages will continue for weeks and months, experts say. The discussion on the standard media has been tossing the term return to normal quite a lot these days, but industry specialists are telling us that our current issues are likely to continue for a long time. When we truly halt to think around it, is it genuinely conceivable for things to ever return to the way that they were once before the health crisis came along? Because from a financial angle, an exceptional amount of harm has been done over the past 2 years, and the results of that are aiming to remain with us for at least many years within the best case scenario. We have an unending list of major issues tormenting our supply chains and making thousands of basic operations a whole lot more awful. Our framework is in a state of utter chaos, and this is often causing some exceptional difficult shortages. Hello and welcome to Economic Stories. Join our channel by hitting subscribe and clicking the bell icon to be updated on our new uploads. Without further ado, let's dive in. For a long time, the media has been demanding that shortages and supply chain issues would soon be gone, but presently, they're being constrained to confess the truth. Indeed, NPR has of late distributed a major story about the far reach agencies clearing over this nation. The article says that grocery store racks are uncovered once more, conjuring terrible memories of spring 2020 for many. What's indeed more concerning is the effect of the unused surge of diseases on our nourishment supply chain. This profoundly infectious new variant is without a doubt one of the greatest stressors on the nourishment industry nowadays. Basic supply stores over the United States are seeing empty racks that once held items extending from bread to produce to meat. As a surge in COVID-19 cases due to the Omicron variation includes another layer of complication to a framework already strained by supply chain issues and laborer shortages, while the sparser choice may be reminiscent of spring 2020, when toilet paper and cleaning supplies were difficult to come by. There are extra issues at play this time around. Industry organizations and specialists said about 2 years into the widespread tangles within the supply chain proceed, but laborer non-attendances due to the wide reach of Omicron have played a noteworthy part within the shortage of products in stores. Omicron absenteeism is by far the greatest driving figure behind this, said Katie Dennis, the Vice President of Research and Industry Narrative at the Shopper Brands Affiliation. If you don't have the individuals to create the items, dispatch the items, provide and stock the items, you're planning to be in troublesome circumstances with what appears up on store shelves. Basic supply stores ordinarily have almost 7 to 10% of their things out of stock, Dennis said. But presently, it runs at almost 12% of all items, and it's indeed higher for nourishment and drinks, around 15%, possibly twice the sum of things that are regularly unavailable. These are higher numbers than what we have seen all through most of the pandemic, Dennis said. Over the western coast, producers of perishable produce are paying nearly triple pre-outbreak trucking rates to transport things like lettuce and natural product before they ruin, said Shay Myers, CEO of OEHE Create, which grows a wide variety of plants, namely onions, watermelons, and asparagus along the border of Idaho and Oregon. He uncovered that he has been holding off shipping to retail merchants until trucking costs go down. On top of that, later snow and ice storms that growled activity for hours to postpone nourishment conveniences destined for basic supply stores and convenience centers. Shockingly, the issue hindering the industry's operations are not attending to be cleared up anytime before long. One grocery store CEO is warning that the supply chain disturbances will proceed to be a major cerebral pain for his company. That's to say, when buyers are fortunate enough to discover the things they require, the costs are simply crazy. Last month, the Bureau of Labor Measurements detailed the customer costs as of now bounced by 7%, the greatest increment since 1982, with the cost of cereal up 6%, bacon up by 19%, steak up 21%, and eggs up 11%. At Halt and Shop in Jamaica, Plain on Friday more delivery was well supplied, but there were restricted choices of meat such as pork, hamburgers, and scarcity of bundled products, counting cooking oil, tortillas, and bottled water. People are complaining that they have been experiencing a scarcity of various items, ranging from toilet paper to frozen food items. When COVID first started around a year and a half ago, you couldn't get toilet paper things like that. A customer in an interview said, "Now that's there, but you can't get a part of nourishment things and things like that, particularly packed." The Omicron variation in pair with climatic disturbances have exacerbated these holes, and the effect is felt over the basic need industry. A representative said in an email. Jessica Dankert, vice president of the supply chain for the RIPA, said, "The things that are inaccessible are consistently evolving. You may go to a store one day and not be able to discover item X. You go back in a day or two and it's completely stocked," Dankirk said. "It's kind of a moving target in terms of where you're seeing the impacts. Basic needs stores have balanced to a standard level of supply chain disturbance all through the widespread. But the expansion of winter storms, the occasions, and Omicron have included a layer of blockage," Dankirk said. There's too been a common increment in shopper requests for foodstuffs of all sorts, as more individuals spend time at home due to the COVID surge. Specialists said each portion of the supply chain is encountering issues, a scarcity of materials required to create the merchandise, the laborers creating them, the transportation of the items to the stores, and the stocking of racks inside the stores. In October 2021, the American Trucking Affiliation detailed a shortage of more than 80,000 drivers, a historic high for the industry. The National Merchants Affiliation noted a later study appeared a few stores working with less than 50% of their regular workforce at some periods amid the widespread. According to interviews of customers in different places, namely at Star Market in Quincy on Friday, Brenda Lessard, 57, a previous worker of the market, and she regularly nourishes her dog with chicken drumsticks. After seeing the cost had lifted to $7 for a pack of 6, she decided not to purchase them. "I'm not eating much. I'm not shopping like I used to," Lessard said. "This implies that our supply chain issues continue for many months to come. Costs will go indeed higher." Investigators at Deutsche Bank are presently anticipating bottlenecks to finalize by the end of the second quarter. For 2022, we anticipate supply pressures to likely wait for longer until the moment half of another year becomes steadily unwinding. They composed in a note last Tuesday, but they moreover appear to be accepting that conditions will return to normal in the longer run. It would be awesome in case that didn't happen, but as Wolf Richard highlighted, the industry has frantically been attempting to return to normal. For a long time, grocery stores have been attempting to stock up for 22 months presently, to fill the gaps and capture up with this historic surge in request, but each time they make a small progress, new limitations and issues develop. And they still don't have a sufficient stock on hand to induce over the bump, and they sporadically run out of a few items, he wrote. What no one is truly willing to confess is that our supply chains will never completely run to the way they were in 2019. Numerous things have been changed, and this crisis may take decades to be resolved. In reality, decades of unimaginably silly choices have driven us to this point, and the utter inadequacy of our leaders in Washington may be a major pointer that things won't turn around anytime soon. The coming months are not getting to be lovely. We ought to begin to plan appropriately since no one is coming to protect us from this mess. So now that we've reached the end of this video, make sure to like and subscribe to be a part of the channel. Till we meet again, keep investing, keep loving, and don't forget to keep your family. Thank you for watching this video. Adios.